Have you seen this guy before, kid?
Actually, you need to start the recording on the computer, Joe. So just go to OBS. Yep. Press start. Press start recording.
Click exit. Exit.
Click exit.
Okay, start recording.
Right. Nah, I just want to remind you we're doing a podcast.
Quiet and good. Alright, click play order.
Want to do like any introduction here? Like,
No.
like, you know, I watch Game of Thrones. I like.
Today we're doing Game of Thrones because it's hot. Boom.
The first shot of Game of Thrones originally was like super cool. It was just this like really slow, well-paced shot that established the tone really well. So, like, one of my things here is that I want to see a really good shot when the first shot comes in, and not like say someone riding on a dragon or something immediately, which would be kind of like, you know, kind of like Hollywood, kind of lame. You know?
You hope there's a good shot in the beginning?
Yeah, like just a really like nice
Have you seen
slow
this?
shot. No.
Alright, click space.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. Right. Okay. Dude, no subtitles.
As the first century of the Targaryen dynasty
No
came,
subtitles, you idiot. How do I turn off subtitles? How do I turn off subtitles? We're going.
Dutch.
to a close, the health of the old king, Jaehaerys, was failing. In those days, House Targaryen stood at the height of its strength, with 10 adult dragons under its yoke.
Oh, wait, look at the shot though.
King Jaehaerys reigned over nearly 60 years of peace and prosperity. In the year 100, tragedy had claimed the old 14 called a great succession claims were heard in doubts and air. But only two, Princess Rhaenys Targaryen, the great king's eldest, to prevent a war, and her younger cousin over his sons, Viserys Targaryen, for he knew the cold truth. Descendant.
A lot of exposition. She's the person from the, you know, Game of Thrones. Really? There's a I don't think they're still using Dubrovnik as the location for King's Landing.
I don't know what Dubrovnik is.
It's secretly, first of all, it's secretly Ragusa, not Dubrovnik, but it's a.
It's fiction. None of it's real.
It's all a lie. Go.
You know I don't like you to go flying while I'm in this condition.
You don't like me to go flying while you're in any condition. Your Grace.
Good morrow, Elephant.
I'm not looking at the band so far.
How long?
Ergotis, Berium.
Se pavron qui Jalina.
I brought you something. Do you know what it is?
Nope.
It's Valyrian steel. My dark sister.
Valyrian steel, Ted. Like Dark Sister.
Turn around.
No. No, when you say it like that, no.
Uh-oh.
It was an unprecedented round of
Dude, it's kind of crazy that things were just like that back then.
Yeah, that is why Game of Thrones is
Interesting.
gory.
Gore.
Like that's the purpose of it.
Mhm.
It's like it's to portray like kind of without hesitation what the Middle Ages kind of really were like, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't just some guy chopped his head by an accident, the camera cut away. Thank God.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it was really like that. Like, think about that. Think about the weight of that.
Yeah.
The psychological effect it has on people if they raise families through that.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy.
It's very like human history is just like filled with so much bloodshed.
Yeah.
You know?
It's actually insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
criminals of every ilk. Your brother made a public show of it, meting out the summary judgments himself, until they needed a 2-horse cart to haul away the resulting dismemberments when it was done. God be good. The prince cannot be allowed to act with this kind of unchecked impunity.
Brother?
Game.
Prince.
This is your reminder that this is HBO. Kind of worth mentioning, if I compare this to, there's an attorney in the 4th episode of Game of Thrones. The attorney in the 4th episode of Game of Thrones, I kind of appreciate the understated nature of the set. It was budget limitations partly, but like, the set they use is just like a field with some bleachers and, you know, a little jousting arena set up.
Okay.
It doesn't have the kind of ludicrous spectacle of this, even though they were set in the same location. They were both set in King's Landing, in theory, which is the city. It's the capital city. I kind of appreciated that about Game of Thrones, the understated nature of its sets. It didn't have these like.
They didn't just overdo it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And that what you think they're overdoing it now?
Yeah.
It was definitely a way more intense time to be alive back then.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. You don't think so? Everything had way more weight and gravity. Death was around the corner.
Well,
famine, war.
You know what people talk about, or me, what I talk about, is that, like, reality, kind of like, the way we define reality, kind of like, moves on a scale from the Dionysian, the sensual, the real, id-based reality, to the Apollonian, the societally constructed reality.
Yeah. So if you have a society that literally believes in magic and shit,
No.
it's real to you.
Yeah, my point is that I think we're in more of an Apollonian phase right now. We're pretty distant from salt of the earth, you know?
We are?
Yeah.
You think they were more so?
Well, I mean, not these actual fantasy people with dragons, no.
But Middle Ages, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I do think so.
Alright.
It's very kind, thank you.
It's a favorite of mine. I do know how passionate you are for the histories.
Yes, I am.
don't think anyone did architecture better than Europe,
New
right?
architecture is pretty fucking crazy, isn't it?
Pretty amazing.
It's weird. Like,
It's so bizarre.
like, 'cause it's not exactly
It's so
a great
alien.
period in European history.
I don't know.
They do have some fucking amazing architecture.
Yeah, I mean, actually, like, all of their, like they had great art and stuff as well. Or
Yeah,
was that more
kinda.
Renaissance? I mean,
More Renaissance.
but they
I
had
would
the
say.
same architecture kind of across both.
Yeah, the architecture in the Middle Ages was pretty awesome, you know. And the architecture continued to be awesome.
Yeah,
You know?
in the Renaissance, sort of say the same. It's just we're so like separated from like
This
Western
whole,
culture,
like,
just
heavily
like
cultured thing. Whereas now
just
we're
like what 600-700 years ago.
Yeah, we've become very
Yeah,
like, well, we've lost the potency of our culture. We've diluted it.
yeah, just
for
to
the
how
sake of
cheap.
objectivity.
Yeah, because a lame-looking house is cheaper.
Yeah.
Basically.
And it's like, yeah, you gotta imagine.
Yeah, we
it's
just
like
kind of
crazy,
got to like Russell Brand was talking about this. Let me try and think about what he said. I'll try and sum it up. This isn't his words, but like we just sort of lost touch with meaning because we went super far down the path of like business and trade because it was very successful for us. So it became like our only tradition. We forgot about art and everything else in the West. And we're losing meaning. It's too atomizing. It's atomizing.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues like that. I mean, I don't know, it's not really a very easy thing for Westerners when you come to this, like, conflict between efficiency, like, and, you know, beauty. Because it's easy to desire beauty when it doesn't mean you're spending, when it doesn't mean that
You're spending a ton of money.
yeah, because like you're making your country weaker by spending money.
Yeah. But I bet it pays off in the long run because it keeps a culture alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I bet it does too.
Because like
It's
you're not
like
gonna fight for a bunch of
very
yeah.
potent, like,
Who's
sort
gonna
of architecture.
fight the Russians for a bunch of gray office buildings? You know, like no one.
Yeah, and who's gonna like stick around and make sure that maintains itself? Like, obviously,
Yeah.
people are just gonna jump into whatever like weird, bizarre culture they come up with every decade. Because
Yeah.
like,
That's what we have been doing for the past like
right, that's what I'm talking about.
yeah.
No, I just said that for no reason.
90s was completely different than the 80s.
Yeah.
70s and the 80s were kind of similar.
2000s
2000s
were kind of similar too.
no,
but like,
totally different. 80s and 90s were completely different. Listen to the music between the two. Completely different. Totally different vibe. 2000s, pretty different from the 90s.
yeah, pretty different. And then
2010s, forget them.
2010s, we just had
Half my
one
life.
culture per decade was boring. Let's have two.
Yeah.
And have them fight each other constantly.
Yeah, seriously, we need to have some art to unite around. Look at that.
Of course, that is the set still.
I know, but like it looked exactly like that back then.
Yeah.
Before we begin, Your Grace, I have a report I feel compelled to share.
You are to return to Runestone and your lady wife at once.
And you are to do so without quarrel, by order of your king.
If he doesn't want to, if he just wanted to be his right-hand man, I think he's right. Like, he didn't even, like, initially want to steal the job as king.
Well, like, he's going to inherit the throne.
Yeah, but, like, he initially just... The reason he's pissed at the king is just because the king wouldn't ask him to be his right-hand man.
Kind of, yeah.
You know, like...
Or he's playing that up maybe a bit because he knows it's a good way to get sympathy. He knows that he's weak. Viserys is kind of weak.
That is dumb, dude. That they used to do shit like that.
Yep.
Like, dude, imagine being like a royal guard back in the day. You're just like, I have all the honor. What do you say, Lord? And then just like fucking kill people and shit.
You gotta see the original Game of Thrones series.
Dude, how dope would that be, though?
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
They had such a different value structure. Like, since America, like, we question the shit out of authority so much.
Yeah. So we don't understand, like, honorable authority.
Yeah.
Which is...
It's kind of like a
bit of
Japanese
foreign concept.
Japanese thing, too. But it's so foreign to us because... I guess because we didn't like the Middle Ages overall.
Yo. Oh, 2 stars. I think. Too much decapitation and incest. Overall.
Black Plague. It's like -10. That was a hurtful. That hurt.
1 star for Black Plague.
Yeah, like, yeah, that honor for, like, authority, it doesn't really exist anymore much. It existed with the president, like, during the freaking G.I. Joe era a little bit.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you're also getting into this, like, thing of, like, majesty, too.
Yeah.
Which is kind of related.
Yeah.
And we don't do that.
No, we don't do that at all.
And you can actually do that in republics, too. Which is something I'd like to say.
You can have, like, a Your Majesty type deal?
You can, yeah, you can have, like... Yeah, because Rome and Venice both did that way more than America.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Rome had all these, like, poses for politicians. Like, in Rome, you'd give an address, you'd, like, propose something in the Senate, and you're supposed to go, like, you're supposed to be like, I propose that, you know, you're supposed to do it like this.
For real?
Yeah, the Romans did all that shit. It's weird. There's a whole book on it, one by Cicero and one by someone else.
Dude, that is dope.
Yeah, so the Romans used to do all that shit.
Dude, that is actually dope. They were Italian. Talk with your hands.
Yeah, there was 2 whole books written on the, like, hand motions that Romans are supposed to use. And a lot of them are, like, still, like, hand motions. Like, this is one that's written about, which is still, like, a hand motion.
Yeah, fucking Spock shit. No, that stuff is actually... Dude, imagine...
Yeah, just like...
What is that?
I proposed to the Senate a measure that we should...
Yeah,
like, that's what they did.
Dude, what is that thing we're missing?
That's majesty. That's what that is.
Yeah.
It's like...
Like, we don't have any of that in our culture.
Because we don't... And it's like we don't respect our politicians.
Well,
because
no. What I mean is just like this artistic, fantastical view of the world and then making that reality. Like, we just don't have that.
Yeah, right.
At all.
Like,
everything's so
that's my point.
dreary office buildings, you know, lame cars, rounded. You can't have a cool looking car because it's unsafe. If it's made with fucking plate steel, you know, you can't have. You have to have rounded edges. Everything's lame. Like, oh, it doesn't matter how you dress. Back in the, like, look at New York.
Means, right?
Yeah, in 2000 or 1910, everyone dressed up like better than I've ever been dressed in my whole life, every single day, just to go outside. Yeah. And doing shit like that.
But it's also like what Americans would call like pomp and like wasteful.
I know.
And
we definitely got to bring some of that shit back, dude. What if our politicians actually did dope shit?
Yeah,
like
well,
that? I would actually care about that.
Yeah, that's my point I was making. This is why we don't respect politicians, because they all just dress like inoffensive office men and walk up there and like they do very boring things. If they,
you know what? But back in the day, the George Washington types were super dope.
Possibly, yes.
Dude, do you know what killed it is the 2-party system. Washington warned against that because then it just became 2 lobbying groups where it's nameless, faceless people. They're just a vote. They have no character.
Them.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's scary.
Yeah.
It's them. Republican. What do you do?
No, like
what this fucking letter tells me to vote for.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you know, like when the politicians speak on stage, they have this little name card below them and it says
I know.
them, then the name.
Like, what's your opinions? That. Them. What's your opinions? This. Republican.
Fucking take a look, man.
What are you, fucking stupid?
Ooh, I think abortion isn't bad.
That is like creepy 1984 shit where it's like, yeah, we have a democracy, and it's just like, damn, Republican.
Right.
Yeah, that's evil. Like, back in George Washington days, because George Washington didn't allow political parties back then, or was very against them. Warned us about
He was against them.
Warned us about them. Like,
there were political parties, but it was very different than the 2-party system.
Yeah.
There were 2 parties.
Yeah.
There was the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans.
Yeah.
But this was like tied into the French Revolution. It wasn't just too arbitrarily. They were tied into the French Revolution.
Point is, you look around, you look at those old paintings of like the founding fathers planning on America, and you have all these different characters dressed awesomely and like talking with their hands and being expressive, and you know they actually cared about what they're talking about, which they don't anymore.
You know, it's a Puritan value to not do that, to like dress like all in, just to dress all in like this uniform thing. That's a Puritan thing.
You could tell that they actually cared what they were talking about back then. It was very, everyone had their own character. It's not atomized like you said with just dem rep.
Yeah, definitely the founding fathers are all individual like players,
thinkers,
with their own, like seriously, like what do you do? Like it's not like you can just clear cut divide the nation, divide the founding fathers in any real acts.
Yeah, no. Nowadays, I mean, it's total ideological possession.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just it's a mind virus. Political parties are mind viruses. Like, you have people who will have the very similar core value structures, and never agree once, just for the stupid D and the stupid R.
Right. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And that's the horseshoe theory. It's like this thing. It's like, you know, your party, you have people on your party that have totally different value structures from you.
Yeah.
But you won't even acknowledge the people on the opposite party that have the same value structures.
That's so true. God. We should just outlaw them.
Embrace.
How much do you think that would change America if we outlawed political parties? Imagine the news for an election cycle with no political parties. The first one, you'd be like,
I think
my closest political beliefs would be somewhat conservative, right-leaning, leaning libertarian. But we're not allowed to say that more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think you would outlaw, like, political parties really, because they just, like, take on a different form and still exist.
Yeah, I guess.
I think a good structural change would be transferable voting, which I've talked about before.
What's that?
It's like, you,
yeah, like
instead of voting for one person, you get to vote for like multiple people. Like you get to pick your top 3 candidates or whatever.
Okay.
On your ballot, and then what happens is, if your top guy gets eliminated, doesn't get enough votes, then your votes go to your second pick. So like, so you can vote third party, because then you can vote libertarian, and if the libertarian doesn't get enough votes, you're not just wasting your vote. Because it just goes to your second pick. That would totally break the two-party system.
There are power man should never have trifled with. One that brought Valeria its doom. If we don't mind our own histories, it will do the same to us.
Dragons are kind of nukes in this series, by the way. Yeah.
Interesting. So you could do this whole show about like Fallout, futuristic style.
There's some things in this show.
Yeah. I'd rather see medieval. That's a great theme, man.
Yeah.
The evil brother heir thing been done before.
Yeah. I did end up liking a lot of the story though, like towards the end, and I ended up liking Viserys's actor.